If you're talking to someone about Brazilian martial arts, the very first thing that comes to your mind is probably Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I understand why. It is a very popular and effective fighting style in the mixed martial arts community. But what if I tell you there is a Brazilian fighting style with centuries of history, and honestly, is way cooler to watch? Some of you may already know what I'm talking about, especially if you watch a lot of martial arts movies in the 90s. This fighting style has somewhat faded away from the media in the last 2 decades, but man, Capoeira still kicks ass. Hi, I'm Dan and this is Brazil 101, and today we're going to talk about how dance, music, acrobatics, and fighting came together to create an art form that became a symbol of resistance against oppression. Oh, just so you know, you can watch this video with subtitles in either English or Portuguese by clicking here. Capoeira is a fighting style born during Brazilian colonial times. Its technique includes a dense list of moves, mostly kicks, backflips, or roundhouse kicks. The practitioner is in constant movement and can perform those moves at any time. What makes Capoeira unique though is its ginga, which can be roughly translated as something like rhythm or groove. The basic idea here is that of being constantly moving in a certain rhythm, so at any given time you will always have enough momentum to perform an attack, defend against an attack, or dodge an attack. The possibilities are endless. You don't see capoeira very often in the ring, or at martial arts competitions in general, but when you do see it, it really is something else. But where does it come from? What is the history of capoeira? Well, I'm afraid to say that this amazing art has a very sad origin story, but still an awesome one. Brazil was one of the last countries in the world to abolish slavery. The slaves in Brazil were only completely set free, on paper, in 1888. Before this, many slaves rebelled and escaped, forming communities in the depths of the jungle, which we call quilombos. And these small communities had to defend themselves against raids sponsored by slave owners. And thus, capoeira was born, as a way for slaves to resist and protect themselves from those who tried to attack their communities. As time went by, capoeira started to become well known, even among slaves who didn't run away. And even those slaves started to practice this martial art amongst themselves. As far as the slave owners were concerned, the slaves were just dancing and partying during their free time. Yeah, they actually had free time, believe it or not. This disguise worked so well that capoeira spread widely among the slave community, and the dancing element was officially incorporated into the style. That's why in any capoeira circle, you will always see someone playing the drums and berimbau, which is that instrument that goes something like dang, da, dang, dang. Many people even refer to the capoeira practice as dançar capoeira or jogar capoeira, which means to dance or to play capoeira. And just because slaves were set free in 1888, that doesn't mean that all the problems were over. The black community still had a long way to go to fight for equal rights. Many big names from the black communities that spoke out loudly and fought for their rights had their lives threatened. And as a safety measure, they used capoeira practitioners as bodyguards. There are also reports of some small criminal organizations seeking capoeira practitioners to reinforce their ranks. And thanks to that, capoeira was declared illegal at the time. Actually, at the beginning of the 20th century, capoeira had a bad name in society. If you said something like, "this person is a capoeira," it could be understood as, "this person is bad news." And it was only declared completely legal in 1953. Although it originated in the Afro-Brazilian community, capoeira today is practiced by Brazilians of all ethnicities, and even by non-Brazilians of all ethnicities. This incredible art form has really exported Brazilian culture all over the world. Capoeira is present in many countries on every continent, and every year it attracts thousands of foreign students and tourists to Brazil, and renowned capoeira mestres often teach abroad and establish their own schools. Unlike Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is more combat-oriented, and which we tend to see more in the octagon, capoeira presentations are normally more theatrical and acrobatic. And we can see them on the streets, the same way you can see random kids playing ball around the corner. And people often stop to watch it. In 2014, capoeira was added to UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The convention recognized that the Roda de Capoeira, or capoeira circle, where people gather together to play capoeira, is a place where knowledge and skills are learned by observation and imitation, and that it promotes social integration and the memory of resistance to historical oppression. You can see small demonstrations of capoeira in movies like 1996's The Quest with Jean-Claude Van Damme, yep, the guy who got a boner on live television, or 1993's Only the Strong with Mark Dacascos. But if you're really interested in watching a good capoeira movie, I recommend Besouro from 2009, known outside Brazil as The Assailant. Yeah, it may be a foreign movie for most of you, and you may have to read some subtitles, but if you want to see some nice choreographed capoeira fights and get immersed in the history of capoeira, this movie is perfect for that. Actually, many of the scenes used in this video come from the movie Besouro. You should really check it out. We here at Brazil 101 do not want to get political, but racial injustice still happens in our society, and maybe that's why capoeira is so awesome. It is not just an acrobatic dance, it is a symbol of the fight against oppression. A symbol of strength and resilience, which, years later, also became a way to unite people from many different cultures. And if this is not cool, I don't know what is. Thank you for watching this video. There are a lot of subjects that we here at Brazil 101 are looking forward to sharing with you guys, so that you can have a better understanding of what this country is really like. So please share with us your thoughts about what interests you most in Brazil. We hope you have enjoyed our content so far, and if so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications on future videos. See you soon!